pause that.
Oh, we're going into the socialist den.
All right. Yeah, pause that. Let's do an introduction. All right, guys. So, yeah, we're just working on setting up streaming, and we don't know how well it's working, but hopefully you're there. If not, I'll upload something better later. But, all right. So, introduction for this video. This is Auditing 2.0, Citizen Law Enforcement, and I show how you can film in a courtroom. And as far as I know, I'm the only person to do this. Forcing it. The news, obviously, they get to do whatever they want.
Right.
The courts know that the news is going to collaborate with them.
They're compromised.
And so they'll go ahead and allow them to
they're
do.
socialists, too. They're socialist collaborators.
Yeah. So as far as the people go, though, as soon as the cops tell you to leave, essentially, everyone has left or they've gotten arrested except for me. This week, I talk about this later, but may as well be in the introduction. This was the same month or something that DMA got arrested in a court for filming in a courthouse, just in the halls. And there was like 15 of them that got arrested for it. So while those 15 got arrested for just filming in a courthouse, not even in the courtroom, I'm over here. I get to film in the courtrooms. I mean, you saw what the last video was. I mean, I literally get to do just basically whatever I want. Obviously within reason. I can't create a victim. Okay, I think we're ready to get started on this.
Really don't feel up to this. They're always causing problems. Leaving it up to us to fix.
This was going to be a video showing how to get past the radiation machine and the unlawful checkpoint that they have at the courthouses, and it was on part of my notice. You can check for documents on my website. These public servants did not have the door manned, so unfortunately I didn't get to show you that process, but it's the same process that I'm going to show you here.
Jury number?
595.
I don't have a 595 on here. We're going to have Stacy look it up here. So, yep, I don't have you on here. So let's have Mindy Walker. I'm going to have you grabbed all your stuff here, and have you, Stacy will look you up in the system and see what your number is, and then she can write it on there for you, okay?
Yeah.
And actually, we have you exempt from service.
I am exempt.
Pardon me?
I am exempt.
Okay, then you didn't need to report. If you're exempt, you don't need to report.
Okay, so the reason they have me down as
false.
exempt, we must be experiencing some lag or something. The reason they have me marked down as exempt is that when they sent me out the notice to serve on this jury, that I sent it back with a whole bunch of constitutional rights invoked on it. Where it was just like, oh, you want me to come and serve you? Well, 14th Amendment. Oh, you think you're going to force me to do something without a warrant to seize me? 4th Amendment. You are threatening me with contempt of court if I don't show up? That's nonsense because you don't have a complainant. 4th and 6th Amendment. Okay, so that's why I'm exempt here. Is that's how I turned my crap back in. And then signature, I just dash, Not signing your crap. I don't have to. Nothing.
Just made a mark on there.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm already marked down as exempt.
Yeah, so they...
Go ahead.
Because they don't want you in there demanding your rights.
Right. Well, right. Yeah, anyone that knows anything about the law, you got to go. You are not fit to be on a jury if you know anything. They don't want you there. We've seen videos of lawyers before where they're like, yeah, I'm a lawyer. Oh, okay, you're dismissed. They just do not want anyone that knows anything. They want to tell you what to think. They don't want you in the jury room
about
contaminating the other jurors.
Yeah, they want a bunch of fucking idiots
that will do anything the judge says.
Yeah.
The judge is going to give them instructions, and they're going to obey it. The judge is going to tell them what laws they need to worry about. And it's not it's not an organic thing. So here's the problem with that is how do you trust a jury that literally is only appointed because it'll do exactly as it's told? You can't. And we're about to see exactly what the pool of jurors is. Go ahead.
So I,
Right, but if you've been exempt, even though your number was called, you don't have to report. That's why you're exempt.
well, I wasn't exempted until after the summons, so.
Right, but exactly, but everyone is summoned and then you get exempt because we don't know who's actually called in. And so that's why you were exempt after the fact. So, yeah, so you don't have to serve today.
Okay, I just need to talk to billing then. Get you guys to pay for my time.
Okay, I'll pay you for coming in, but you're exempt, so you don't have to report anymore. Okay, all right, you're free to go.
So where is, what is it, payroll?
I'm Ed, so I'm gonna go ahead and pay you for coming in, but you don't have to serve anymore, so you're free to.
Yeah, she already said that. Why is she fucking repeating herself? Does she think you're stupid, or is she just dumb as hell?
Unless you don't want to serve. I mean, do you want to be exempt or you want to serve?
I don't care.
Okay, will you tell me what would you like to do?
I could care less. What's the plan? What do you want to do from here?
I'm asking you, sir. Would you? You're welcome to serve. It's just
If
you
I was
asked to be
exempted,
exempt.
does it say what reason I'm exempted?
No, you had asked to be exempt.
No, I didn't.
So, okay, then I'm going to go.
Okay, so they lied. They conspired against you and lied about your submission or your application or whatever the hell it is. Your response to the summons.
It's possible. Well, okay, first off, what's a summons? Does it have any legal authority? No.
It's a request. It's not, it's not something that you have to obey.
Yeah,
you don't
not
have
a
to
warrant.
obey anything the government tells you to do.
Well, you have to obey a warrant.
Right, unless it's got a warrant, exactly.
Okay, so she's saying that I requested to be exempt, and that could be considered true.
But you did no such thing.
Well, I invoked my rights, which is a similar... It's just a different way of putting it. We can go on.
Okay.
Go ahead and mark you to serve then, and we'll take you off of there. And you're welcome to serve. It's just I was asking you why you reported because we had an exam, so I'll be happy to put you back in there.
If you guys sent out a letter once you exempt someone, then I don't think you'd have that type of issue in the future.
We did, so I must have gotten lost in the mail, so that's why I was wondering, and that's happened a couple of times, so if you want to serve.
How'd it get lost in the mail? I mean,
Actually,
you're not living in fucking Houston.
Well, actually, it did get lost in the mail. I found it later. I don't know what happened, but
okay.
I don't necessarily check my mail and stuff, but that's the problem with sending out a summons that has a threat on it. Because you've already made your choice to start threatening people and ordering them around. And now you're saying, we sent another letter that says you don't have to. Yeah, but you already sent me one threatening letter. And if I never see the second letter, then all we have to go off is this threat. That's why you do things right.
Is the threat. There's only the threat.
Instead of threatening all these people to come and serve on the jury, you ask them if they will come and do jury service. Because it's voluntary. And these people, she's not really getting it. She's like, we sent out a letter and that makes it okay that we threatened you. No, bud. It doesn't. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I'll go ahead and mark you as serving. Is that what you like to do? Okay. All right. Are you currently employed?
I don't answer questions.
Well, I need to know for your per diem.
So,
Okay, I'll go ahead and pay you for your per diem and your mileage. You can just hit on the
right here.
Yes,
You
sir.
smooth
right
that over like
you.
like butter with a hot knife.
Do I need a number on the back of here?
there. Sure. I'll put that on there. There you go. You're welcome. Did you get a jury button? Okay,
I have one.
put that on. You can head into court.
Okay.
Cell phones, anybody?
Or smartwatch.
access the internet.
Okay, so is this what this is jury instruction, right?
Yeah, they're trying to strip everybody's. They're trying to take everybody's phone, watches, anything that connects to the internet. I have a body cam on, so they're going to have a problem with all of your personal property, and then they're going to believe that they can seize everything that you've got, and they believe. I mean, this is just the average American's belief process, and you're going to notice that all of these people are fine with it because none of them have ever read their rights, or at least they don't believe in them or something. You know, no matter what rights you have, if you're not going to be the one that stands there and says, hey, I have a right not to do this, and you're trying to tell me to do it, I'm not going to do it. Unless you're that person, like, just get ready to bend over for everything. Go ahead and continue.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Excuse me. I'll be invoking my Fourth Amendment right against search and seizure.
If you have a cell phone, we do need to collect it.
Fourth Amendment says that you don't.
Any cell phones over here? Anyone down here?
So you invoked your fourth, and then she just moved on. She didn't even say shit after you invoked.
Hi, sir. Are you recording?
Oh, I don't answer questions.
Well, you cannot record in the courtroom
Really? Why is that?
because it's a courtroom rule.
Have you ever read the Constitution? It calls it a public courtroom.
Okay, but you have to have prior approval from the court.
It's a First Amendment right.
Supremacy clause, baby.
There's no recording in the courtroom, so.
It's a First Amendment right. It's a public trial.
Well, if you're going to be in there, you need to turn the camera off.
I was summoned here.
Well, there's signs posted, you can't be recording in the courtroom.
Oh, do the signs have a law on them? Let's see. No audio or video recording is allowed without approval from the court. And then this is what? UTCR?
Rules and supplemental local rules, those are enforced by the Chief Justice.
Okay. So is that higher or lower than the Constitution of the United States?
Part of the Constitution.
I just wanted to say all file, or I hadn't even looked at it or anything.
So because of the supremacy clause, the Constitution actually takes precedence over this and everything.
We're having
Sir,
a problem.
you can't stop recording. That's fine. You do not need to serve
We're having a problem.
your jury duty today. We cannot have you recording in the courtroom.
Well, so if I leave, or if I don't leave, then you're going to arrest me? Is that basically what's going on?
No, you'd be relieved from jury duty.
Telling other people.
So what if I don't leave, though?
If you don't leave, then we'll have to have you turn that off.
So it's a public trial, so I'm allowed to be here.
I understand that, but you gotta understand that we can't have people recording in here, and there might.
We can't have anybody recording our crimes, basically,
Yeah,
right?
why would he say that like it's common knowledge? Like, you've got to understand. We can't have
well,
someone
everybody else believes it.
We can't have someone in here recording. It's like, dude, don't talk to me if you talk like this. Okay? Seriously, I will consider you a peasant. I will completely start ignoring you, and I'll start telling you exactly what to do, think, say, everything, because I don't consider you a legitimate human being. So if you're going to tell me something, then it's got to sound like, a law, or it's got to sound like you know what the hell you're talking about, not just some retarded claim of what you can or can't have me doing. You need some water or something?
Yeah, apparently. Jesus.
Do you need to pause?
No, it's good.
Okay, go ahead.
Like the sign says, it has to be approved. So if you get it
But
approved,
here's the problem, is that this doesn't supersede the Constitution of the United States of America, which you swore an oath to. So if you go ahead and enforce anything contrary to my First Amendment right to press and Sixth Amendment right to a public trial, then you'll be in violation of
all right, so
the law.
will you enlighten me a little bit on why you feel that way?
It's It's called a public trial in the Constitution.
It is. And the press can record and distribute it.
Okay. So what's the problem?
And so the press comes in.
Can I sit down here?
You can. So the press could come in, get it approved, and it would be distributed to the general public, right? But they have to go through the approval process.
But that's based on is that a state law? What is that?
I believe it goes into both. There's some federal components to it as well.
What a comment.
If I'm remembering that correctly.
It's basically like he's standing there saying, I have no clue how laws work. That's essentially what he's saying.
He's admitting that he's admitting that he doesn't know shit.
He literally thinks that
Enlighten me.
The state made half the law. The state made half of this law, and then the feds made the other half of the law. There's components of both. No, there isn't shit for brains. Anyways, go ahead.
So anything that violates the Bill of Rights is null and void?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm a huge proponent of the Bill of Rights.
And so since I have freedom of press, and this is a public trial, then I already have the freedom to do it, and I don't need to ask.
Right, but you have to go through the process to use that. It has to be approved.
It's an inalienable right, actually.
Well, sir, they're just asking you to turn off your camera, or they're going to...
Right. We're only asking you to give up our rights. How dare you come in here and say that you have rights? And then to think that you don't have to go through our process to, stand on your rights and invoke those rights is... What is he even talking about, man?
Even this concept of him asking me anything is preposterous. I pay your fucking way. I feed your kids. I house you. And you're over here asking me something to make you happy?
Yeah, I don't think so. Public servants don't have the right of redress.
Yeah,
go on with it.
Yeah, he can just quit his job if he doesn't like something that's happening. They can all just quit. It's not like we need any of these people. They don't even know what they're doing, so there's no point in even retraining them at all. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, they serve no purpose.
I mean, I don't care what they do. I was ordered to be here. That's why I'm here.
Mommy, come on.
You don't turn the camera off.
Let's clear out in the middle of nowhere in a minute. And it's like,
I don't believe I have to be anywhere. Haven't been charged with a crime. I'm here because this is a civic duty.
There's no cameras allowed in the courtroom. We can't allow you to go back in there unless you turn the camera off.
Okay, I explained to you the law of the land, which is freedom of press. You seem to be in denial of that.
because he wants me out of the house.
Well, you're not going back in the courtroom if you haven't turned the camera off.
If I go in the courtroom, will you arrest me?
You brought her out of my house like that.
I will not arrest you, but we'll have to escort you out of the courtroom.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
So they'd have to go hands-on and drag you out kicking and screaming is what he's saying. He's threatening you, basically.
It's an illegal seizure. It's a seizure without a warrant. He thinks it's okay
right.
to admit
my
guilt
God.
to crimes. I will admit that I will deprive you of your rights any time.
Yeah, I'm a criminal.
I'll even do it on camera because I have so little inside me. My soul is so minuscule. It's total nonsense. It doesn't even exist, to tell you the truth. Every word they've said has been wrong. Every single word. Bro, as far as I go, I don't believe the American is the same as me because personally, I can't make mistakes. Not really. My brain doesn't let it happen. It'll always just be like, either you're going to make a mistake, you better do something else. Or maybe right after I screw something up, I'll be like, oh, I knew better. I should have done it like this. I already knew the solution, and I wasn't thinking about it. It's not that it's impossible.
But you made a mistake to err as human. Yeah.
It's not that it's impossible to make a mistake, but for your brain to function by mistakes, as far as I'm concerned, that's not possible. That's how your brain functions, is that it's that knowledge that one giant cat jumping out is going to be the end of you unless you make every single choice correctly. Every one. No mistakes.
Right, exactly. Yep.
And this guy, for some reason, there's something wrong with his brain where mistakes are a thing that he can do them. It doesn't, nothing is stopping him from making every mistake there is. Which, dude, why do you even have a brain? Where is your soul? Prove it to me.
Right, and how the fuck did you get a job?
I stand on this, that these people that do not earn their own way and they don't work for themselves and they don't, struggle and they don't, I'm pretty sure that they're not building souls. They're not building consciousness. It's just, and that's why you can, of course, this is a young kid, 25 or something, but his whole life experience has been crimes with the army or whatever. So I think your sound, I don't know, everything's going out, it looks like. Okay, are you back?
Yeah, there was a big spike right there. I don't know what that was.
Okay.
I don't have anything running, so this is it.
It could be, it's hard to tell. We're not experienced enough with this stuff to really understand it, but go ahead and...
No, not really.
You're not putting your hands on me.
This was like the day he was served.
You're not going in there with the camera.
If I go in there, am I going to be subject to arrest? Are you going to detain me? Are you going to be touching me? Stuff.
It's very fancy. You better keep it.
I will have to do what I have to do.
Okay, so you're threatening me that you are going to violate my constitutional rights with the threat of arrest. Is that correct?
No, sir.
So I will not be arrested.
No, I'm not going to arrest you.
Okay, great. Are we done?
They're just asking that you don't have cameras in the courtroom.
They can ask all they want.
Actually, I don't like that.
It's my right.
There is no camera.
They can't ask. They can't ask. They need to get back to work.
No.
And if they're not at work, then they're disrupting my business. And that's all there is to it. They can't ask. They don't have a right to...
And they're not doing their jobs properly.
Right. They don't have a right to seek redress of their grievances with me. They cannot ask. I said that basically because I've heard it a million times and it just bled through. All right, go ahead.
No, it's a First Amendment right. It's freedom of press. I can definitely record in the courtroom because the courtroom has been defined as a public trial. Public. That means I have all the rights I have in public, like in this hallway. First Amendment right, which I'm using right now, and I have the same right in there because Sixth Amendment says it's a public trial.
Okay, but like Deputy Ordway explained, you got to get approval to use a camera in there.
Well, if you're not threatening me with any physical violence, then I don't, aren't we done?
Yeah, we're done. You're just not going to go back in there with the...
And if I do go back in there, then what are you going to do?
I'm going to do my job, and they're asking you.
Your job is to follow freedom of press.
Well, you're not going to go in there with the camera, sir.
And if I do, then what?
And I'm going to have to escort you out of the building.
Okay, so you're going to touch me?
If it comes to that.
So let me get this straight. If I exercise my First Amendment right, freedom of press, in a public trial, then you're going to put your disgusting, grubby little fucking hands on me. Is that right?
Following the correct process.
Is that correct?
You have not got approval from the court to record.
I don't care.
Why is this guy...
I have a First Amendment right. The court...
Why is this guy talking like a lawyer, where he just will not answer the question? Bro, the problem is the American people, because when you see some fucking lying goddamn scumbag like this, you need to call them out and you need to start talking shit and you need to treat them like shit till they're dead. Straight up. But since the American people just, well, he's being a sneaky little bastard because that's a good man. Give me a break. There's no chance of that. None. Even the dumbest person with no legal knowledge should be able to look at this situation and say, why won't this fucking scumbag just answer his questions? He keeps asking it. So answer it. What is this, a guessing game? And you know what we find with the law? It usually is a guessing game. What's the point of that? There isn't one. either people know the law so that everyone can just follow it and we don't have problems, or else it is just some guessing game bullshit and it means nothing. And that's what they've turned it into. So you should be able to intuitively figure out that this guy is bad.
They brainwashed.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. He's a dirtbag, man.
These are all my servants. You're my servant. You're my servant. These losers are all my servants, and I don't care what they have to say.
And that's correct, sir. You absolutely have the right to exercise your First Amendment right. I understand that. You have to go through the proper channels to do so in this kind of facility.
It's called freedom. Not opposite of freedom. Not check and see. Not find the nearest servant and ask them. It's a God-given right.
I agree the First Amendment is definitely a God-given right. I'm a big believer in the Constitution.
Then we're done here.
Like, we're on the same page with this.
Yeah, obviously you're not on the same page because he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Nothing but bullshit is coming out of his booger lickers. He's just...
Well, that's the mind of a servant.
Nonsense and placations.
That's
he doesn't
why
believe in...
Yeah, that's why he's not on a job site building a set of stairs. It's because he's this. This is why he became a public servant. It's because he's this. All right.
Yeah, he's an empty sock.
You gotta understand there's channels you have to go through in order to do that in this facility.
Really? So when it says freedom of, they mean not freedom of, or what? If it says freedom of press, inalienable, God-given right, then I do not have to ask anyone.
Right, but there's things like case law.
Case law. I love it. He thinks he's a fucking lawyer again, huh?
He thinks we're having a trial.
Dick.
Case law doesn't supersede the Constitution of the United States.
I agree with you. I agree.
It's the supreme law of the land.
I agree that it shouldn't. I 100% agree that case law shouldn't. But over the course of this country's existence, it has.
No. Anything that violates the Constitution is null and void. That's Marbury versus Madison.
Okay, tell her as soon as possible. Thank you.
So that's not really a law. It just looks like it.
What's not a law?
That right there.
That is a uniform trial.
Okay, so you just walked in the middle of a conversation, so that explains why you don't know what's going on here. But actually what's going on is the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution declares that any law that tries to take precedence over the Bill of Rights is actually null and void. So that's null and void.
It's actually not null and void. The Chief Justice of the State of Oregon enforces that rule.
Chief Justices don't enforce, okay? These guys are enforcers.
Okay, so they're enforcing that rule. Those are the uniform.
No, they're not going to enforce that rule because I already explained to them my First Amendment right.
Okay, excuse me.
They're going to have to violate their oath to enforce that law. Right? Which I don't suppose you'd want to do you? I wouldn't want to do it. If I took an oath, I'd take it seriously. You know, all the men, women, and children that have died for it and all. Well, are we done here?
That's up to you.
So here's what's going on is you're wanting to blame your actions on someone else, which is pretty typical.
I'm not blaming anything on anybody.
Okay, so what happens if I go back in there?
You can't record in there.
I can record because of the First Amendment. It's the supreme law of the land. I don't know what's so confusing about this. It's the supreme law of the land. America exists is because that law exists. And so we're going to follow that law, not that. Oregon joined the Union because that law was there. And now we're not going to pretend like we joined and now we're subjects. I'm not a subject. Not at all. So, I mean, really, it's up to you. And honestly, if you threaten me again, I'm probably going to place you under arrest. So, what are you going to do if I go back in there?
Escort you out, sir.
Okay, so you're threatening to disrupt my business?
They called us up here because you were recording, and there's no recording allowed
I don't care. It's not a law. The law is freedom of press. Period. So you're dismissed, really.
Yeah, go take a powder, Chief. You're done.
They can't even talk to me. They flat out can't even talk to me. It doesn't work.
They can't even. No, they don't have the words. They can't get their heads around it. This is the fucking problem with Americans in general. I'm going to go ahead and roll it unless you got more.
Go ahead.
What? What's so confusing to you? Are you confused? What? You don't get it, do you? It's the supreme law of the land. There's nothing you can do. All right, well, you're dismissed. Well, I'm going to go back in this. Okay, at this point, I'm ordering you to remove yourselves. You are now creating a disturbance. I will be placing you under arrest.
Let's get a criminal deputy up here.
Did he just say a criminal deputy?
I think he did.
Is that what he said?
I don't know what it means. I've heard it several times, and I think that is what he said.
They're all criminals. We know that, but
admitting it, yeah, that's a little bit much. I don't get it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Over admitting that we're criminals. He looks like a real brain trust. So yeah, you know.
Well, the
sergeant's he probably has to shave in between his eyebrows, over his nose every day.
The sergeant's on the right here. You know, he should know more than this other guy, but he doesn't. He's got two promotions on him, corporal and sergeant, and yet it just doesn't equal anything at all. So, all right, go ahead.
It just means he beat some old ladies up.
And
what the fuck?
You exempt?
We were like,
I'm probably going to place you. Confusing to you.
There we go.
All right, that was a lawful trespass that I just made. All right, that was a lawful trespass that I just made against this deputy. Both deputies, really. I'm asking them to leave. And while a person can't be trespassed from a public building for no reason, these guys are actually prohibiting me from accomplishing my business, which is going into a public trial. So because of their crime, they've been lawfully trespassed from this building. And if they are carrying firearms, which they probably are, I don't remember, and I'm not seeing it necessarily in the video, but it's probably in there somewhere. Then it's an enhancement here in Oregon. So far, we've got criminal trespass for both of these deputies. So that's 2 crimes.
If you get in my way, if you impede my business, I will be placing you under arrest for disorderly conduct.
You get dispatched to get a criminal deputy over here.
Is this your supervisor you're trying to get, or what?
Courtroom 1.
I feel like you're trying to stare me down. Is that kind of what you're doing?
I want to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I think it's this way, sir. Listen, if you're trying to intimidate me out of my constitutional rights, you know you're subject to a lawsuit, right?
Sir, we're just not going to allow you in the courtroom with the camera.
Why? I have a First Amendment right to record in there. It's public. It's a public trial.
The court lady already explained that to you.
Yeah, and I already explained the Bill of Rights to you. So yeah, it's the supreme law of the land. Listen, I'm getting ready to arrest both of you. You're creating a disturbance, and you're prohibiting me.
All right, he just made the allegation that I was being disorderly, and that is actually disorderly conduct in the second degree here in Oregon. So if I can get your attention to E, initiates or circulates a report knowing it to be false concerning an alleged or impending fire, explosion, crime, catastrophe, or other emergency. So he just initiated and circulated a report knowing it to be false concerning an alleged crime. So he's watching me. He understands that he has not received a complaint from someone that I am impeding their business. It cannot be an officer that charges me with disorderly conduct because it violates my Sixth Amendment right to face my accuser. So it couldn't possibly be him. That means he needs to have a report from someone that I am being disorderly and that I am, causing public inconvenience, annoyance, alarm, recklessly creating a risk thereof, engaging in fighting, making unreasonable noise. All of these things require a complainant. And the difference between me or you and the officer is that you are the complainant and the officer, in most cases, is not. Of course, nothing I say can be taken as legal advice. And in fact, everything that I'm teaching you here it comes with a level of danger. So you should probably be careful about anything that I'm showing you and realize that it's a double-edged sword and you can get cut by it the same as using it as a tool to help you.
Oh, listen, now he's saying I'm disorderly. Like, you're on recording, by the way.
That's fine.
So you just called me disorderly for what fact? What fact makes me disorderly?
You're not wanting to cooperate.
What fact makes me disorderly? This is the law. I'm following the law.
Failing to comply to, unlawful orders is not creating a disturbance. It's a civic duty. It's our duty as Americans to not comply to these ridiculous nonsense rules that these judges make. It's ridiculous.
You are being disorderly. You're trying to impede my business.
If we look at the Oregon statute for disorderly conduct in the second degree, we can look at 1, he's causing public inconvenience to me. C, disrupts any lawful assembly of persons without lawful authority. And so what we're looking at so far is there's 2 of these disorderly conduct charges for the sergeant here, and 1 of them for the other deputy. And then there's also trespassing or trespassing with a firearm if they are indeed carrying a firearm.
You're willing to get arrested over what? Somebody tells you what to do or what? I don't get it.
Excuse me, whichever way you prefer me to go.
Yeah, what are you doing? I mean,
Sir, you're not going in.
defend yourself. Make it make sense. Because I have a right to record in there. It's the Constitution. It's the supreme law of the land. Nothing overrides the supreme law of the land. So I don't know what you think you're doing.
Sir, the judge has spoken to the trial attorneys today, and they've excused you. You don't need to be here, so you're free to go.
Man, they just really want you the fuck out of there, don't they? They just want you gone because you're standing for your rights, man. They can't have that.
I was always free to go.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know you're not required to be here.
Okay.
Okay? All the important stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'm ordering you to move.
Are you not?
Excuse me.
What?
Are you not going?
Listen, I'm in the middle of something here.
Okay, well, I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
So are you leaving?
Okay.
Excuse
Listen, I'm in the middle of something. I'm in the middle of something here. Thank you. All right, are you going to get out of my way?
You've been excused, sir.
So? Does that mean I can't be there?
Not right now.
Why?
because you've been accused by the judge.
So, does that mean I can't be there? Or does that mean I don't have to be there?
You're not going to go in there with the recording.
Why? First Amendment says I can. And Fourth Amendment, I assume you're trying to steal my camera or something, right?
You just ask that you turn it off, please.
It's not going off. It's First Amendment right.
Okay, well, you're not going to the courtroom.
Okay. All right, listen, what I'm gonna do, now, I could arrest you. Just place you under a citizen's arrest. Go ahead and get the sheriff over here. He'll collaborate with you. It's a guarantee. People like you are not big on following your oaths. You know, just like you're doing right now. So I definitely could arrest you. You are being disorderly. You are impeding my business.
Sir, how can we help you?
Did I ask for help?
I'm asking you, how can we help you?
I suppose you'd order these guys to get out of my way.
What's going on?
These guys believe that this sign over here overrides the Constitution of the United States, if you could believe such a thing. They think that it actually overrides my First Amendment right to record a public trial, which is, what, Sixth Amendment? So we got First and Sixth. So this is a public trial.
We actually, here, hold it.
I have freedom of the press.
It's always a Fourth Amendment seizure. They're stopping me, right, from going in? So, Fourth Amendment seizure.
Right, so it's a seizure.
You need a warrant for that. That warrant needs to be based on an injured complainant, sworn statement of damages. Without that, no warrant may issue. So, that means no seizure can take place, no search can take place. So, as far as seizing me at this doorway and stopping me, that's just, it's a clear violation of my constitutional rights. And then it's also the crimes that I keep bringing up, things like disorderly conduct. You know, if I feel threatened by any of the things that they say,
they're committing crimes and crimes and crimes.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got a bunch of lag between you and me in the chat, over voice. So go ahead, man. I'll just operate the video on and off.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm allowed to record in there or out here or wherever I want. And these gentlemen believe that they are going to use physical violence to stop me from getting in here. So I'd like them ordered off the door.
So what is UTCR 3.180 and SLR 3.181? What do they say? Because I haven't read those.
Since this says no audio or video recording, and I have a First Amendment right to press.
There's some laws here that they're citing. I haven't read these, so I don't know.
Since there's the supremacy clause in the Constitution, those laws are actually null and void because they violate the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, right to press.
Okay.
So they look like laws. Certainly, I would give you that, but they're not laws.
Okay.
Because they're null and void.
Well, that's what we're going to go by today.
Okay.
So he has the power to decide whether the Constitution applies today or not. Is that what he just said?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're going to disobey the oath that you took to the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights today.
I'm going to follow this one.
No, the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
I understand what you're saying, and those are contradicting each other.
No. One is above the other.
Correct.
So, like, the Bill of Rights is above this.
Okay. Well, we're not going to argue about it.
Yeah, that's right. We're not going to argue about it because I'm fucking going in. And there's nothing you can do about it. Because if you do, it's another crime on top of all the other crimes. Unbelievable.
Okay, you're dismissed.
You are as well. Thank you.
Oh, also order these guys off this door.
That's not going to happen.
Really? Well, based on what? The First Amendment grants me the right to record in there. And it's also called a public trial in the Bill of Rights. Now, that's the supremacy clause.
So you're not going to go in there with the camera?
under threat of violence, right? What are you going to do if I go in there?
I already told you.
You actually didn't. The thing is, since you know you're committing criminal conduct, you're being pretty tight-lipped about your actions. So what are you going to do to me if I walk in that door?
So if you walk in the door, you're going to be arrested for contempt of court.
Contempt of court, and who's the complainant?
The judge advising us.
So the judge is in his judicial capacity, and he cannot make an arrest.
This officer just committed the crime of disorderly conduct in the 2nd degree because he is threatening me with violence for exercising a constitutional right. Now, there are some laws that allow someone to be disorderly as long as they have a lawful purpose. Okay? So when you don't have a lawful purpose, all it is a threat of violence. So when he threatens to take away my 6th Amendment right to have an accuser, I mean, he's completely stepping outside of his role as law enforcer. I want everyone to understand that there are lots of citizens here and none of them have committed any crimes against me. And then for some reason, law enforcement shows up and now we've got crimes they just keep on happening. And that's what my book's about.
So there is no complainant with contempt of court. Are you aware of that?
So I am just advising. That's what will happen.
Okay.
He thinks he's my advisor now. He's trying to give me legal advice. That's what he just admitted to that. And the problem is, bud, your education is a lot less than mine. I mean, you're a child compared to me, obviously. And that's why I'm going to walk in this courtroom and remind him that he's nothing to me. Go ahead.
Bias. You can evaluate when and whether it is impacting your decision making. You can also remember that unconscious bias acts as a sort of reminder. If you make decisions based on that.
Gentlemen?
Have a good day.
You too. I believe I proved my point.
Yes, you did.
Thank you. Hey. I've been, let's see, released or something from jury duty, so how do I finish up?
Just take your button.
Oh, right, okay.
Did you have a phone or anything?
Give up a phone.
Okay. All right. So there should be nothing else that you're going to do. What's your journal that you are on?
595?
595. Okay, perfect. You don't need a sheet or proof that you were here today for work purposes or anything?
No.
Okay.
I need, how do I get paid, I guess?
So they'll mark you down as being here for today, and then at the end of the month, after your term of service is done, you'll get a check for your appearance for today and your per diem, based on your form that you sent in.
Let's see, I didn't fill that out. Can I speak with her?
They're in the courtroom doing their orientation part, so if you wanted to have a seat, it'll be a few minutes.
Okay.
Or I can see if Paula is available.
I literally pointed to a person, and then she told me that she was in the court. These people, man. Go ahead.
Helping with the jury.
Yeah, maybe she can help.
Or I can have one of our supervisors visit with you if you'd like.
Hey. I just wanted to get a place squared away of where to send the bill. So I'm billing for the times that I called in, and then just for, today, just 1 hour.
Okay, so we'll send your jury per diem and your mileage to the address that we have on file.
Okay.
And you'll get that at the end of the month.
So I need to send the bill, though. It needs to account for each hour.
So we don't pay for that.
Well, see, the problem is that if I allow you to set my wage, then that makes me a slave.
Okay. So is there anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, it's $500 an hour. Each phone call I made, I am billing a full hour. Okay, so I think that was 4 phone calls plus today. So that's $2,500 plus the fuel stipend.
Yeah, we don't pay for that, but.
Okay, see, you don't set my wage because if you do, that makes you a slaveholder and guilty of the 13th Amendment.
Sir, there are there's statutory guidelines on what you can be paid for jury duty.
Well, my policy is that I actually set my own wage.
Well, we don't follow your policy. We follow the laws.
So the law is that you don't enslave people?
We haven't enslaved anybody.
Really? $10 an hour?
And you're free to go.
For 50 people?
We'll send you a check at the end of the month.
$10 an hour is slave wages, so I need to actually bill $500 an hour. And then each phone call, I need to bill $500 for each phone call that I've made to that line.
So the 13th Amendment clearly says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So what this is here, whether it's slavery or involuntary servitude, I mean, either one. And when they send me a jury summons threatening me with physical violence, where someone's going to physically arrest me and take me in front of the judge to stand for contempt of court that doesn't even have a complainant, this is certainly one of the two. It's either slavery or involuntary servitude. So she's over here claiming that she follows the law, but she's actually not following the law, and this is very typical of these guys. They always look at their state statutes and they say that this is what our law is, but no, those can be laws only if they don't try and supersede the Constitution. So here again is no involuntary servitude, and they're over here threatening people with arrest if they don't come and serve. And by the way, I'm saying $10 an hour here. Oh, huge mistake. It's $10 a day for all these 50 people. And notice they don't correct me because that obviously looks even more like 19th century subsistence wages. I mean, no matter how you look at this, this is like either slavery or involuntary servitude. And for her to think that she follows the law, she works in a courtroom or in a courthouse. You think about that. These are the people that are paid to enforce their laws. So just liken this to walking onto a carpenter's job site and telling him how to do his job, because that's what I'm doing here with these people. They're supposed to know these things. That's why I pay them. That's why they have a home to go home to at night. Other people that don't do a job, they get to go ahead and sleep on the sidewalk.
Because I bill by the hour.
You're free to send whatever you would like to send.
Okay.
We'll pay you what you're...
Here, would you put the address to send my, here, put it on there. The address to send the bill.
We're not, just so you know, we're not going to pay your bill.
Well, you're going to get a bill, and then you're going to get a lien, so.
Okay. Here's a business card.
And this has...
Your address. Okay?
Okay. Is this you?
Yep.
Marley Aldred?
I'm Marilee Aldred.
Marilee? Okay. All right, so I just send my hours and the bill to you?
You can send it to the circuit court, but we will send you a check for today and for your mileage today.
Is that you that sends out the check?
Nope, it's not.
Okay. Who is it that does it?
Somebody in Salem.
Okay. All right, so I'll just send you the bill and then you'll send it on. Is that correct?
I will send them what I get. Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, so I went ahead. I did send that bill, and I haven't heard anything about it. They sent me a check for like $13 or something like that. So ridiculous. I mean, literally, it doesn't cover a car payment for one day or anything. It's just preposterous that they think that that's a fair compensation. And then, so all I really need to do is file a notice of claim with the state. I still need to get it done. I already sent them the bill and they ignored it. These people are not Americans. So when you cite things like the 13th Amendment, the law against slavery, they have nothing but contempt for it.
Of course, they've been taught that what they say and that, whatever state law or rules or whatever, that's what you follow. You don't follow the Constitution. They've been taught that.
Yeah, they hate our rights. All of them.
Yeah, they've been groomed to be nothing but fucking criminals and traitors.
Yep. Okay, we can continue.
Is this the only set of stairs?
Right here. Yep.
Is there an elevator?
There is, right here. So down to where the bathroom is. The elevator is right there. So.
Gentlemen, if I had the energy, it would have happened today. It would have happened today, Sarge. All right, sir. Start respecting that oath. I don't want to see something like this ever again. All right, sir. Have a good day. All right. Have a good day. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
Oh, I get good service. I get good service once I show my teeth a little bit. She's out here hitting the button for the elevator for me and everything.
They just wanted you to get the fuck out of there, man.
Oh, yeah.
They knew that you were on to their crimes.
Yep.
I can imagine them, in the back going, those pesky kids didn't get us this time.
Oh, no, I did get them. I went in the courtroom and filmed.
You did. Yeah, you did.
We're right at the end of it. We may as well just finish it up real quick.
Well, what do you think, guys? Did we crash? Did we just take it? I don't want to do jury service anyway, obviously, but... Well, I don't know, guys. Was that a win? Was that a loss? It's hard to say. Well, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do me a favor, though. Buy my book. It's the gems. It's the things that can keep you out of trouble. And yeah, you're not supposed to take it as legal advice, certainly. But essentially, it's the book that I wish I would have read when I was a kid, before I started having to deal with, especially through your 20s. Guys especially just really have to be wary of the cops. And I wish I would have read something like this. I've never seen any information out there like this. Auditors don't have it. In fact, you'll notice this is dated for over a month ago. And yeah, things take me forever these days. But since I conducted this audit, 15 auditors were arrested with Denver Metro audits for doing less than what I did. All they did is recorded inside a courthouse, in the halls. So it makes a huge difference. I'm in Oregon. My cops are better than the Colorado cops. There's no doubt about that. And these guys, they could have tried to bring charges against me since this event happened almost a month and a half ago, as of the recording. But they haven't, because they know that I've got all these crimes on them, and I'm going to press charges if they press charges on me, right? And they don't have a complainant, and I'm going to be pointing that out immediately. And they never had a complainant. In a lot of ways, that should have been the very first thing that I said to them. Instead, it was essentially the last thing. These guys, they need to really understand that they're not out here doing what they want. They're out here serving citizens that make complaints. That's what makes it a crime. Anything besides that is a 14th Amendment due process violation.
So if I arrest these guys and they, choose to conspire, well, that's a 14th Amendment equal protection under the law situation. And, all of those are suable, or, some of these offenses are jailable, suable. You have recourse, and auditors have done a really good job of working out their defense, but there is no offense until now. So this is like auditing, but it's auditing 2.0, citizen law enforcement.
It's a good video, man. I mean, you proved your point. They got out of the way. You went into the courtroom. They lost. They made no move to even grab you after you came out or when you went in. They didn't even try to follow you in there.
They got out of my way so that I could go in there.
Right. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so...
It's a fucking great video, man,
Well, and then I did decide to go ahead and just press charges because I didn't like the threats. I didn't like the entitlement. I just didn't like it. I don't like this concept that some 23-year-old kid is going to stand in front of me thinking that we're going to have a standoff. Like, no, bitch, that's not how it's going to go, servant, because there's too many of you for me to fight fair with you. You got it? So we're not going to do it
out of the way, man.
Yeah. Dude, a standoff with your own people, that's some straight up like Stalin shit. Like, that's not America. You don't seize someone without a warrant. There's never a time when you need to be blocking a doorway like this. Bro, we have laws for a reason. If it's illegal to go in that building, then you can arrest them, right? So you don't need to block the doorway. That's the point of these laws, so that we don't have to put a meat bag in front of every goddamn door. We just have a law. Don't violate private property or something like that.
Yeah, if they had any real reason, which is a warrant, or, if they had a complainant, which they're never going to get against you because you didn't do anything, it could be a complaint. They can't arrest you. They know that. You told them as much.
Yeah, there's no injured party. So, and there never will be.
Yeah, you can't arrest me for that. And if they can't arrest you for that, then they can't arrest you for anything unless they have a complainant with a signed statement with damages attached. They can't do it without a warrant.
Yep.
They just can't do it.
I received a comment about that. Because we're over here citing the Fourth Amendment and the requirement of an injured complainant. And so you know what this commenter did? He's such a genius. He went to Google and asked Google if you can be seized without a warrant, and then Google just went ahead and told him whatever it is that these auditors believe. I think that's maybe where they're getting it. Who knows? But Google, just so everyone's clear, Google isn't... it's not the law of the land. It's not the original documents of the nation. It's not it's Google. It's just Google. It's not even a real source. It's not a person. How much trust can you have for an organization with millions of people in it? It doesn't have any credibility because they're caught lying and censoring and stuff like that constantly, right? So they're not a good American corporation, even if at the best, even at the most optimistic way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So
it's propaganda. That's the most optimistic way of looking at it. That's what I think. That what somebody used got it. It's propaganda, man. They put whatever the state wants you to see first.
And if you are the type of person that is not going to just read the law and figure out what it actually says, then that's fine. You can believe that a crime can be anything that these people want. That it's just essentially a weapon to be used against you. People think that's legitimate. They'll watch the cops commit the same thing that the cops end up arresting the person for. And these people out here are just like, oh, yeah, that's legitimate. He's the one in the costume. Don't you get it? And they're looking at us like we're stupid because we can't see their costume or something. These people around us think that solves the whole situation. It's what costume you're wearing. Oh, you're in street clothes. That means you're not right. I'm right. ChatGPT,
yeah, you're nobody.
It can work, though. You just have to tell it. Like, it'll try and make you stand under Terry v. Ohio. But you just tell it, no, ChatGPT, we're actually going with the higher standard in the Fourth Amendment that is the requirement of a warrant and an injured complainant. And ChatGPT will be like, oh, yeah, okay. Here it is. It'll know exactly what you're talking about. So you have to have a high enough competence to talk to ChatGPT, just like with the cops, just like all of these other auditors go to jail for this shit. In fact, they volunteer to stand under this ban on recording, like Chili did in his trial. And I've seen a dozen at least other auditors do it. Just like I've seen 36 auditors walk through those Fourth Amendment violation checkpoints at the entranceway. Now, mine wasn't manned. I should have at least showed you that it wasn't manned. I wish I got that video footage, and I just wasn't thinking about it. I should have just sped it up, me just walking around it. But
it's all right, man. It's still a good video. You know,
that was a huge part of it, you know, because when I'm going into these situations, I'm planning out the whole thing. I know exactly what they're going to say and at what points. And that was the first thing that tripped me up, is because I was expecting to get through this Fourth Amendment violation checkpoint without submitting. And then I walk in and they just don't care, which is good. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
My county is
because
almost constitutional. It's just that they're such fucking idiots they can't quite pull it off.
Yep, they're not the sharpest tools on the rack, man. I mean, they're just not. They prove it every day, right?
Right. All right, guys, that was our test for our live stream. Hopefully something happened, or at least I got the recording or something. Let's call this good for now. I can stay on the line, though, if you want to talk for a minute.
It's up to you, man. It's up to you. I'm ready to get something to eat, man. It's okay. It's been a hell of a day, hot and shit, horribly hot.
What's the matter?
Anyway, it was a good show, man.
Says right, you have to force it. I've experimented and figured it out, but most folks won't bother. Well, pretty soon they're not going to be able to deny it, because the way I go about this stuff is it's a complete 180 from what these other people are doing. Honestly, I wonder if they're not just all frauditors. There's something wrong with the average person where they either can't fucking read, they don't believe in our Constitution, they don't believe in our laws, or they're just so easily misled by gibberish coming out of these lawyers and judges, like case precedent, case law, that they just... All right, our next video I think is going to be me at the DMV doing a mask refusal. I order the cops to leave.
Okay, so I'll download that one.
And they obey me. So compare that to your 2020 experience. And we'll see, we'll see you next week, Thursday. Thursday we'll do that.
Yep, we'll see you Thursday. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for being here, Kennedy. I'm going to holler at you Wednesday or something, maybe. I'll download the DMV video and we'll do the show.
Sounds good. I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Jeff Hates Pig says, I admit to losing faith in the Constitution. Well, it's time to get back to that faith, man.
Yeah.
Your belief will make it real, but it's also knowing that that's what's up.
Yeah, you'll either admit to stand under other crap, or else you're going to stand on the fact that all you have to be beholden to is the supreme law. As long as, you're not creating a victim, you're good. So, all right, guys, that's it.
Yep. All right, hang in there, Jeff. The Constitution does have power. You just got to stand on it and use it. Thanks a lot, Kennedy. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you on Wednesday, probably.
Later
on.